Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please, now, like and subscribe. It really helps, you know. Seriously. Don't take a second. And listen, today I want to talk about discussing brutality and all the other aspects of imprisonment in conflict with the Official Secrets Act. Because we had a little observation yesterday. If you look at yesterday's broadcast, a certain comment was on there from an individual who is accusing me, in effect, of overstepping the mark, breaching the Data Protection Act, and effectively abusing my privilege of having signed the Official Secrets Act. Now, in 1979, the Home Office, which was the Home Office running the place show at the time, and the Ministry of Justice was running the show at the time, and the Governor of Strangeways Prison, Mr. Norman Brown, agreed with the government that he would allow the BBC cameras in to interview the staff and make a series of documentaries that went out in 1980 titled Strangeways. And you can see those on YouTube. Just type in BBC documentary Strangeways 1980. In episode 3 you'll see me being interviewed and featured and discussing the problems of the prison and how the staff are being misrepresented by what I believe to be the tool of management, which was at the time, as probably still is, the Prison Officers Association, who had within their membership, don't forget this is supposed to be a trade union, had within their membership all ranks from the basic grade prison officers on the first day of training right up to the most senior number 1 chief officer, who was responsible for the control and discipline of all uniformed staff, all in the same union. All represented by the same union, with chief officers predominating on the national executive and principal officers running the local regime. The chairman of the Prison Officers Association at Strangeways was a principal officer called Brian Baldwin, who was also a senior member, in fact the leading member of the Northwest branch of the National Front. Now, anybody who didn't agree with that nonsense and spoke out against it as being a brutalising and insult to the human rights of all the prisoners and the staff was alienated. And you'll see me being well and truly alienated in that documentary. It's in episode 3 of Strangeways, and I was speaking then the same truth that I'm speaking now. And on the 8th of June 1990, an article was published in the national press, the Guardian newspaper. It was commissioned by Alan Rusberger, who was the editor of the Guardian at the time, asked me to write about the reasons behind the Strangeways riot, which had commenced on the 1st of April 1990. And the article I wrote, it's still available there. You can go into your local central library and search it, 8th of June. The article is entitled Loose Screws. And the journalist is John Sutton. That's me. I added the G, John G. Sutton, later because there was a professor of philosophy at Oxford University called John Sutton, and he was getting my letters and I was getting his letters, and so to differentiate between the two, because I had written a series of philosophical articles for the national press and was at that time the feature editor of a newspaper writing on philosophy and spiritualism. So I have a long track record of actually writing in the press, and I am well aware of the outlying requirements of data protection and the Official Secrets Act. And if you read the article I wrote in The Guardian, Loose Screws, at the very end I said, if It is a criminal offence against the Official Secrets Act to tell the truth about the conditions in HM prisons. Then I plead guilty. It isn't. Because the problem that we've got in the prisons is that for too long it's been a secret what happens behind those walls. And, of course, there's a great deal of abuse takes place. Certainly was in my day. We had prison officers debasing the food, adulterating the meals of the inmates, putting rubbish into the food, urinating into the soup, basically behaving like animals, worse than animals, because animals wouldn't really do that, would they? So I believe, that it's right, and it's the duty of right-minded individuals when they see something that is completely and totally an offence against the dignity of their fellow humans. It's their duty to speak out and not to sit idly by. I believe it was a famous American that said all it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to remain silent. Well, I did consider myself to be a good man, and I did not remain silent. The result of that was that I was physically assaulted by staff. I eventually ended up being attacked by a senior officer who tried to throw me down a flight of stairs, and in his attempt to do so managed to meet that right on the end of his snot box, which knocked him from the top of the stairs where we were at. He was struggling to throw me down, and it dumped him on his arse, and he rolled down the stairs. And what could I do? I mean, I was defending myself. If I didn't do that, I would have gone down the stairs. I had a cup of coffee in my hand at the time, which would indicate how much I was looking for trouble. I wasn't. I was going about my duties. But that didn't help, and I was subsequently suspended from duty. I never went back. But I am aware of what my duties are to humanity first, and the rule book second. That's my opinion. Obviously, it's not everybody's opinion, and if it was everybody's opinion, well, this brutality, ignorance, and the violence that pertains in the prison system would no longer be there. I mean, we've got a problem. Don't forget, we're not locking up saints. We're locking up violent prisoners, and they have to be dealt with in a manner that indicates to them that this is not tolerated. It's not going to be tolerated by the system. What we've got today is something else. We've got the whole STES system. I keep harping on about this, but it doesn't work. And nobody has done a risk assessment on placing young girls in uniform, big stick, big hat, set of keys on the landings in Victorian, dirty, rat-infested dumps like Strangeways. Who's allowing that? They're only doing it because it's jailing on the cheap. Anyway, it's that time of day, folks. Hope you've enjoyed that little rant. Yeah. Somebody asked me to sing Jailhouse Rock. I did it the other day. Ronnie Pickering, how you doing, mate? Ronnie's watching the site again. Well done, Ronnie. Ronnie was in Strangeways, He met some of the uneducated thugs that used to run the Borstal Allocation Centre. Don't know how they picked them bastards, shouting at young boys. Not just shouting at them, cuffing them round the hair, and generally disgraceful conduct. I sympathise. You survived that, Ronnie. Well done. And we do know your name. Yeah, Ronnie Pickering. You're doing well. So it's that time of day. I've rung the song dinger. I'm going to sing you a song. This is a prison-related song. It's an Irish song, actually. It's called The Fields of Athenry. Now, as you are all well aware, I'm no great singer, but I've got a certain range. Yeah, it's got about 2 notes in it. All right, give me that. But here we go. The Fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling, Michael, they have taken you away, for you stole Trevelyan's corn, so the young might see the morn. Now a prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Lo, lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on a wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling, nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they cut me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Lo, lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely by the fields of Athenry. By a lonely harbour wall, she watched the last star falling, as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. For she'll live and hope and pray for her love in Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Lo, lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. They are the fields of Athenry. Sincerely hope you like that. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you really will. Thank you very much. Leave a comment.